Hey everyone, I wanted to yap a little bit about my new play experience on Dead by Daylight. First of all, I play both Killer and Survivor in about equal parts. I main Susie from the Legion, Sadako, and Rebecca respectively. I don't claim to know stuff better than other people, so please don't attack me just because I have opinions that might change in the future as I get more experience with the game. I have about 70 hours of actual time spent in matches, so I don't have like super much time, but that's what I've put in over the past 3-ish weeks. Of course, I'll put timestamps for the different topics below if you want to skip certain things. So let's start with some positive things. I really enjoyed the huge variety in killers, perks, and maps. Of course, I also have my gripes with that, and we'll get to that later. But I think just the fact that you have like this huge crossover of like so many different franchises is like really, really awesome. And I think that's probably a huge appeal for a lot of people. I also enjoy the cosmetics. Also that you have like some that like literally change your character, like with Wagner and Henry, or that you have like gender swap cosmetic. What makes me a bit sad there is that some characters don't have like the quote-unquote good voice actors. Like as example, Wesker is, I believe, not being voiced by DC Douglas, which for me makes it a lot worse because DC Douglas is one of my favorite voice actors. He is the absolute goat, and I also enjoy that the game has a really high skill ceiling and that you have like a lot of ways you can potentially improve. I haven't delved too deep into educational content yet because I like to first try to figure things out myself and like look into things when I have a better grasp of the basics of a game and when I feel like I cannot easily improve by myself. And with that, we're gonna go into the negatives. And the first would be lack of utility, like a replay mode. I feel like it's really frustrating that I cannot easily improve by watching my own gameplay, except for when I like record it. But even then, it's like limited because you only have it from your point of view. I really wish there was like a replay mode that you could like actually look up stuff, because so many times in this game, I feel like I don't even know how I got beat or like what happened. And I think that's like a really big point of frustration for me when I cannot like easily figure out the counterplay because I lack things that I believe are like kind of mandatory utilities. I also believe the heads-up display is not helpful. The user interface. It is very, very frustrating because you have like so many icons on your user interface and you don't even know what they do. As example, when you get debuffed from, I don't know, hexes or like killer effects or whatever have you, you just cannot tell what even affects you or what it is. Like it often shows you like a little icon, but why does it not even just display like the name or something, you know? And I feel like a lot of these things you could just make as a toggle in like the settings at least. So like new players that don't know like every single icon in the game and know like what is what can just, you know, like read the name and then like after the match or like while you're on hook, you can like Google it real quick so you know, oh, okay, this is what this effect actually does. I think that is really frustrating. Just a lack of clarity in general. Same with like perk descriptions. In other games, like as example, Legends of Frontera, which is a card game, when you have like traits or buffs or like effects, you can like just hover the effect and the game will give you like a description. And I wish the game would have something like that instead of me having to have like the wiki or like Google open and having to like Google everything because the game just refuses to tell me like anything. And what I also dislike is when you like die when you play Survivor and you get out of the game like after the kill animation, and you cannot see what like perks or like add-ons the enemy killer ran, right? And I suppose the reason for that is probably in case you play with like other people that you can like not communicate what they exactly use. That's what I would assume is the reason for that. But it's just another thing where it's like, okay, I would really like to know like what did I just play against, but I cannot. Like I literally cannot see it until the game is over, and I generally don't want to like wait in the lobby for the game to conclude. The next topic would be the grind, Bloodpoints specifically. I feel like Bloodpoints is such a poorly handled system. For a new player, it is like extremely frustrating. So I personally, I play like a lot. I'm pretty sure I play a lot more than the average player. on a daily basis just because I have like a lot of free time as a shut in, and I can also a lot of times play at work. So you have to spend 1,040,000 blood points to unlock like the perks for like other characters, right? And I just think it is like such a horrible system, especially because a lot of times you see a perk that like seems really interesting in the description, and then you try it out and it feels like fucking horrible. And it happened to me multiple times where I've like invested millions of blood points, and I was just so upset that I like wasted my points basically on something that I ended up not wanting to use. One example would be like hex perks sounded really cool. I wanted to try those. And I think I had to level up like 3 characters to get like a variety of them. It was like Hex Devour, Hex Pendimento, another one that like decreases the time in which it takes to cleanse your hexes. And I basically tried to make like a full hex build and like use a few different ones to see if like I can make any of them work. But it didn't really matter which combination I used, they just always seemed to not work out at all. It was like really rare that hex builds worked out. I assume because so I've played it mostly on Susie, and you just don't really have like means to defend your totems, and the totems spawn also in really dog shit locations. And I was just really upset that I basically wasted all my points for stuff that I essentially cannot use anymore because it's just way too unreliable. And yeah, I'm not saying that like hex perks with the strong effect should be like free, right? But like a lot of times I had like hex the wall like cleansed within like the first 30 seconds of the game, and I'm just like why the fuck, you know, like what is that? Who thought that is like good game design? And so many times also like my hex like literally spawn next to like generators. So when people do generators, they will like literally just see the hexes. I can cleanse them, and it's like, well, I feel like I just got fucked over by like luck. Another one of those was the perk from Vecna, the Stranger Things one, that lets you like damage generators from range. Sounded really cool on paper, but when you actually try to use it, it it doesn't work properly, and it feels really shit. Yeah, like my biggest issue really is just it takes like so many hours. I believe it's like 6 or 7 hours or something like that of gameplay to be able to afford like one unlock of perks, and then you only have like the tier 1 perks, so you also need blood points to level up your character to unlock like the higher level perks, and then you know you just get disappointed. And I do not understand that. It's like such a horrible system. I feel like there would be so many solutions to fix this. Another issue is also that like because you have to spread your blood points across multiple characters, you like cannot use your blood points on your character to get like the add-ons and the tools for the survivors, right? And I think that really sucks because as a survivor, I would like to like always use medkits because I like to play like healing builds. And yeah, I just run out of medkits because I have to like use my blood points on other characters, and do not get like things for the character I actually want to play. And all the add-ons and tools on other characters that I never want to play are basically wasted. And it's also really annoying because like some effects supposedly are really strong. Like on Legion, as example, the eerie pin, which I heard of a lot, that like lets you break pallets when you walk over them in Feral Frenzy. Supposedly really strong, but in my like 70 hours of gameplay in 3 weeks, I got like 3 or 4 of them maybe. And yeah, I just don't use them because I don't I want to save them for like another time, I guess. But yeah, like it takes way too long to actually get something, and then you play versus people that have like their P100 characters, right? And they just have like basically infinite. Like when I watch streamers or content creators that have like stacks of hundreds of things, right? It's just really frustrating because I myself, I cannot get that. And I feel like there would be ways to fix that. So I'm gonna propose some ideas here. The first one would be, instead of having to use blood points on characters to unlock the perks, when you spend blood points in general, you get like blood tokens. And with those blood tokens, you could then unlock specific perks that you like want to unlock. So let's say you spend 500,000 blood points on any character whoever you want. And then you get like a blood token. And then with that one blood token, you can get like one specific perk that you want without having to level up that specific character. And that way, like, I could put all my points into like Rebecca, and I could get like all the healing and support perks that I want to try out, right? Especially because a lot of times you level up a character, and then there's like literally only one perk that you want, but you have to like put 1 million points for one perk, and then you only have that tier 1 perk, right? So I think that would be like maybe one idea. Or another easy idea would be maybe just when you get like get blood points for both survivors and killers respectively. If you get like 30,000 blood points as a survivor, you also get 30,000 blood points as a killer. And the pools are like separate. So you essentially get double, and you don't have to choose which of your sides you want to level up. Just to, like a lot of times I want to like try out stuff on killer, but I mostly play like survivor because a lot of times you get like blood point bonus, and I feel like in general it's just easy to get blood points on survivor. And yeah, it would just help that you could like play what you want and not like feel like your progression is hindered maybe on the other side at the same time. Like, I just think the grind is way, way, way too much. Like, I have like 70 hours in the game, and I feel like I still need like so many hours to just unlock the perks that I want. And that's like not even the max of perks or like all the perks in the game as a whole, right? Well, that doesn't mean that I'm saying like I should get everything for free, right? But I do think the grind is just too much. Like, coming into this game now, when there's like 40 characters on either side, it just takes too long. I'm sorry. It's really frustrating. And the worst part is when you're excited to unlock perks and then you realize you don't like them when you actually try them. And yeah, you just wasted like 6 hours of playtime, basically. And it's really unfortunate. I really wish they would like change something about that. Okay, let's go to the next point. Since we talked about perks a lot, let's talk about perks again. I think perks are too impactful. I think perks should complement a playstyle or a character and not like define it. There's just way too much of a difference. Like, I notice it myself when I like don't run any exhaustion perks, like when I run sprint burst. It makes me so much safer when I like just focus on chance, because basically every time a killer like walks up to me, I can just run away and get like to a resource easily. And before I had sprint burst, and I avoided that for a really long time because I wanted to like learn the game more the normal way instead of like relying on things that make like chase or like navigation easier. And yeah, it is just like such a massive difference. And I think it shouldn't be. And I also think, especially for the survivor side, too many perks are like just passives that give you like a really big benefit. And then there is perks that you actually have to do something for, but they feel like terrible to use. And part of that is because of the lack of communication. Like, as example, as I said before, I try to play like a healer a lot of times. So there's like this one perk that gives you 100% healing boost when you unhook someone, right? And so many times it happens that like another person runs up before me and then gets like the unhook like 3 seconds before I get it. So I just got denied my perk. And yeah, I just wish that you could like communicate with things like that. Just in general for survival, there could be like so many like maybe quick lines that you could like a little wheel. As example, just let me do that, or like let me heal you, or like I'm far away, I can do it, stuff like that. Like really simple lines. I feel like that if you could like just use them from like a quick wheel would already add so much, because yeah, like the lack of communication is just really unfortunate. And I'm not advocating for voice chat in the game by default, because I hate voice chat with like randos. And I'm sure a lot of other people feel that way too. I also wanted to add to the perk thing. With the perks, I also noticed Hans made a video of him trying out different perk builds. and like comparing the win rate. And of course, those were pretty small sample sizes. It was like 5 different builds and like 10 games each, I believe. I'll put something on the screen when I like edit this part. And like the support playstyle was like 30% or something below like the other builds. And sure, you can say, yeah, it's a pretty small sample size, right? And I completely agree with that. Like, the sample size is not big, but I feel like when like essentially your win rate doubles because of your perk choice, I feel like at that point you're playing perks, you're not playing like the game or the characters, right? Like, this just feels like really, really wrong. Like, I feel like skill should be the primary determining factor of if you win or lose, and not, oh yeah, which perks did I bring. So I think that is like a really, really, really big issue as well that's like highlighted from that video. Okay, the next point I want to yap about is the killer imbalance. Like, killers are not created equal, and I think that is like so terrible to play. My characters, being Susie from the Legion and Sadako, they, from what I've seen, they're not considered very good characters in general. I try to make my own opinions instead of like blindly listening to other people, but I also feel it like when I play versus like M1 killers, I can like survive really long, and I have like a lot of times where people will like just give up chasing me. And when I play like versus characters with like really high mobility, or where I don't know what the powers do, yeah, it is just like an entirely different game, and it just feels like really, really horrible. So I remember the very first time I played versus the nurse, I got like completely slaughtered. It was like in that swamp level with the boat, and I was like working on a generator in like a relatively open field. And yeah, she just blinked on me, and I had like no idea, like what the counterplay is. I basically like bolted in a straight line, like trying to find like a resource, and it was like, as I said, a pretty open area. And she just kept blinking on me and killing me, right? And of course, that's like a skill issue on my part because I didn't know how she works back then. But it just makes me think like what my experience is, like when I run up to people with like an M1 killer. And yeah, I don't just, like kill people in like 15 seconds or less, especially when they have like sprint bursts. And yeah, I myself then tried to play the nurse because I wanted to try to figure out what the counterplay is. Yeah, playing the nurse made me really depressed, to be honest. Like, I think I played maybe like 8 to 10 games of her. And the first few games were like really horrible. Like, I couldn't deal with the blink at all. But once I had a little bit of healing, I just realized like you can ignore so many like pallets and stuff. Like, when I play Legion, I just eat fucking pallets, like constantly. And on Nurse, I don't even like bother breaking the pallets because I just like teleport around and yeah, like kill people. And it feels like such a massive gap that it's like honestly really depressing. Like, I don't know. It just seems like ridiculously unbalanced. And it kind of, yeah, it kind of makes me like not want to play M1 killers. And sadly, a lot of the characters that I'm like interested in playing all tend to be M1 killers. So I heavily like lean towards playing characters that I like personally identify with. So like I play Susie because of like the clothing style and like her past and so on like kind of resonates with me. So she ended up becoming my main, but yeah, like it feels really, really terrible to essentially play a killer that does not have like a functional power. A lot of times it's also really just, it just feels good when the people you play against are like clueless and really bad. But when you play against people that have like the slightest idea how to play versus like Legion, it is like so frustrating. And I see it myself every time I play versus Legion as like Survivor. My team will a lot of times like group up at the beginning and then get like feral frenzied on, right? And I'm just thinking, oh god, and then they're getting all slaughtered, and then I'm like the last one standing, and I'm like kiting the Legion around and not wasting time on healing myself constantly. And I waste like so much time with them because like they're so easy to just kite around because, well, once you're injured, like they can't really do anything to you except like walk up and hit you, right? And yeah, it's just, I don't know. It feels way, way, way too unbalanced. And at last, we reached the point that I think everyone saw coming. Toxicity in this game. I don't know what it is with this game. So I've been playing League of Legends, or like I used to play League of Legends for 8 years or something. And, you know, I've seen a lot of toxicity. And yeah, League of Legends toxicity is, in my opinion, nothing compared to Dead by Daylight toxicity. It is beyond me how the developers could faster the game to the point that it is nowadays. Like, I don't understand. You have already like a profanity filter, which, by the way, also filters what's like teabagging. Like, what is that, by the way? Like, why can I not say, why are you like teabagging me? Why is that censored? And then you have like people be completely wild to you, tell you slurs, tell you to kill yourself, stalk you outside of like your game, you know, like on Steam, and leave comments and like just complete lunacy. Why are these people not just getting banned? I'm genuinely wondering. If they would have just made a system that like automates bans immediately when someone uses like certain language, it would already like filter out some of the worst people, in my opinion. Yes, that's not perfect, and you're not gonna fix the issue, but a lot of times the people that like behave most toxic in-game are also the ones that are toxic in endgame chat. So I feel like it should alleviate the problem a little bit, at least the worst offenders. And yeah, I just don't understand why like people can basically behave however they want and they receive like no punishment at all. Like the game is like, what, 10 years old or something like that at this point? Why are people not at all punished? It seems to be a pretty common consensus, right? That like the game is extremely toxic. And I must also say that toxicity I gain as a killer is like magnitudes higher than it is when I play Survivor. I rarely ever get like toxicity from a killer. I have not once have I been insulted by a killer player. I have been insulted as a survivor by other survivors a lot. I have been griefed by other survivors. Survivors are extremely entitled and they will literally complain about anything. It is crazy. People will literally use like their unhook safety measures aggressively, rather like body block you while you're trying to go for the person that like unhooked. And you know, what are you supposed to do? Okay, so I hit the person with the status effect, right? And they ran fast, so they get their deep wound. And I'm like, yeah, well, yeah, now the other person, because they got body blocked for like 2 seconds, is like way too far away, right? So I go after the person that body blocked me, and I kill them, and then in the endgame chat, they will complain that I tunneled them. And it's like, but you did it to yourself, you know? Like, I don't know what people expect. They use things against you that has then an effect, right? Like, very simple. You do something, and what you do has, like, consequences. And in the example that I gave, the consequences that you just made yourself vulnerable to get killed again. And you also got the other person, like, out. So, like, what am I supposed to do? Am I just supposed to not follow you, even though you like basically just killed yourself? Like, I don't know what people expect. Like, survivors will use anything against you, but when you respond in kind, they will complain. It is crazy. A lot of times, people will also play like so heavily on like trying to help each other. I noticed it a lot at the beginning of the game when people group up and like do a channel as like 3 people. Like, it happens so many times on, as example, Hawkins, right? When you start on like the upper platform with like the glass windows and the glass ceiling, and there's like the generator at like the corner with like the 2 stairs, and then people will like go on that generator, and then like the killer will come and then kill like 2 people there, like immediately. And I see like so many times, or like on Gideon Meat Plant, the fucking bathroom generator. People spawn in the bathroom, they all like go on the generator. And I have seen more than once, like I shit you know, I've seen it at least like 5 times, that like at least 2 people, if not even 3 people, will die in the bathroom. I don't know why people keep doing that. I don't know why survivors have like this need to group up on the very first generator that they spawn on and then get themselves killed. And of course, the killer, what are they gonna do? Yeah, they're gonna slug you, right? Because there's like other people right there. Like, you're not just gonna kill one person and then like the other 2 people that are still in the room with you, you're like gonna ignore them and just pick up and maybe get like blinded or like pallet stun or like sabotage, right? So you just slug, and then people will like unironically complain about slugging. And it's like, but you did it to yourself. Like, can you not understand that? And I make it my goal to always just split up from the group immediately when I spawn in as a survivor. If there's someone running with me and I go on a generator and the other person goes with me on a generator, and I see like the other two are also together on a generator, I just keep walking. I look for another generator. Like, I don't know why people don't understand it. Just spread out, and eventually when the killer comes, which is very likely, they're not gonna pressure 2 or 3 people at once, and they're not gonna kill you all at once. Like, I don't know why it is so difficult, but I see it like multiple times every day, and it is so frustrating. And another thing I also noticed, I don't know if this is like an MMR thing, but every time I try out a new killer, the chance that I'll run into a squad that has like 3 or 4 flashlights and try to bully is like super, super high. I noticed it when I tried out Ghostface. I noticed it when I tried out Nurse. With every character I try out, it seems like the MMR is lower or something, and the use of flashlights increases exponentially for some reason. And I don't know what it is, if like toxic people just gravitate to flashlights because it lets them bully the killer more or something. But yeah, those are usually the most toxic games that I see. And I see flashlights much less when I play Susie. But when I play like something new, like flashlights are almost every game. It always is like the same. People try like so hard to like screw you over with flashlights and like get themselves killed. And mind you, when I try out a new killer, I don't spend blood points. So I have like 1 perk slot, and I usually just run Lightborn, and people will get so salty when you run Bloodborne. I have literally just green Lightborn and no other perks. And people will unironically complain that I run Lightborn, and I have seen way too many times where like these bully type people, they like throw a pallet in your face, you know, break the pallet, and then they stand in front of you trying to blind you, and then you just walk up and hit them, and they like immediately give up. Like they just completely break. They like short circuit. They stop functioning. If they're not outright just DCing, like what is that, by the way? I don't know. Like so many people seem to rely on flashlights to be able to play the game at all. And when they realize you can't, they will like complain about it. I have literally seen people complain about a killer using Lightborn against one single flashlight so many times. Like it happened to me when I was playing killer. It was especially when I started the game, because on the very first day that I played, and I guess that goes back to having lower MMR, I ran into a lot of people that like tried to bully me with like flashlights and head-on and so on, right? And mind you, back then I didn't even know, as example, that head-on is a perk. I just thought when a survivor goes out of the locker, they just like stun you if you're like close to it. Like I didn't know that it's a perk. And yeah, like literally the first thing that I did was Prestige. Is it Hillybilly? The one that gives you Lightborn? And like run Lightborn. And I basically never took off Lightborn for like 2 weeks straight, even if like the enemies didn't even have like any flashlights at all. Because I didn't have any other perks really anyway, and like it didn't really matter to me as like a new player to have like the best loadout for every match, right? Like I just want to play. I don't want to like overthink and waste my time. And the amount of people that get upset at you for like using Lightborn when they are like the only flashlight, and you know, they're always the same, right? They try to taunt you, they want you to chase them, and then you chase them, and they drop a pallet on you, and then they teabag you, and then they blow the flashlight in your face, and then nothing happens and you hit them. And they got so mad at it. So yeah, I don't know if that is really like a MMR thing, but it just seems like every time I'm like on a new killer, it just happens way more. And when I was new to the game, it also happened way more. And yeah, I think maybe if you actually like lower MMR, maybe that actually increases like the toxicity that you like face. Like I noticed over the past week or so, I have really not encountered that much toxicity. But I also have to say that when I play killer, I generally just turn off endgame chat at this point. Like, I don't want to deal with it. I do not engage with those people. And when I play survivor, well, I'm not toxic to people in general unless they do anything to me. And yeah, like, I don't know. I feel like maybe it is really just like a lower MMR thing that's like really bad, and maybe my MMR is like a little bit higher now, and there's more people that try to play normal, but I still encounter it, especially with like exegates, right? I'm sure every killer player knows the feeling. Exegate is opened, you like, you don't want to bother, right? You're just gonna get teabagged anyway at the exegate. You're just gonna go into like the corner, like that's what I do at least a lot of times. I would just go into a corner, or like I will open the gate myself and then just go to a corner when I know like there's nothing to be done. And people will like literally wait out the entire gate time, and it happens like basically 80% of the time that people like wait out the entire time. It's like so crazy to me. People care so much about teabagging you that they would rather like waste 2 minutes of 4 people in the hopes that they get some satisfaction of like BMing you. Like, I don't understand it at all, really. It is so unnecessary. And I'm just asking myself, why is there no abandon feature for the killer? As a survivor, you can abandon in like so many instances, you know? And you get like no penalty or anything. But as a killer, you get treated like a subhuman creature. Everyone is like shit to you. It doesn't matter if you play nice, it doesn't matter if you let people go. People will always be shit to you. Like, not every survivor player obviously is toxic, but the fact that you like have 4 people, and the fact that like survivors have like so much relative power to the killer, I think it just attracts more toxic people. And yeah, like it just takes one person per game, right? To like make you feel like shit. And yeah, I just don't get it, you know? I can turn off the endgame chat, but I cannot turn off the people teabagging after every pallet drop and then blinding me with a flashlight, right? I cannot like mute them from teabagging me at the exit gate. And I'm just asking myself, why can you not just abandon as a killer? Like, I don't get it really. And yeah, I see like so many people as like killers, I mean, that play nice, you know, they let people go. I've gotten like, you know, killers that like let me go so many times. And on the flip side, I've also like, as a survivor, given killers a kill when it was like a complete storm and like I wanted to make them feel a bit better. And many killers will outright like refuse it. They just want you to go, like they don't want to kill. And when they do kill you, I've had like more people blame me for giving the killer a free kill than I had killers actually be toxic to me in the game. It is crazy. Survivors just want killers to feel terrible. I don't understand it. There's just such a lack of empathy in this game. It is like frightening. But I think that is an issue in gaming as a whole. Lack of empathy, I mean. And yeah, it is just really sad. Like, I really don't understand when you like win, why do you have to like rub it in someone's face? And if you say, yeah, just don't let it bother you, or like just push them out or whatever, right? Yeah, we are just going back to the topic of empathy, right? Like, if you had like an ounce of empathy, you would understand why it is an issue. You would understand why it is hurtful. You never know what a person is going through. You never know what kind of day they had, right? You never know what kind of things they deal with. I myself, I have like an emotional regulation disorder. I have BPD. I have depression. I have anxiety, right? I have like all these things. I sadly am a person with a lot of empathy. I want people to feel good, right? But when people are like bad to me, it just makes me like question, you know, like, am I so wrong? Like, I just, you know, I just want people to feel good, but like, I get treated like shit constantly from other people. And I actually bought the game 4 years ago in 2022. And I think I didn't play it more than like 3 hours or something. Like, not even like playing matches, but like the client, 3 hours. And back then I quit because every time I would go into a match, I would get like teabagged at the exit gates. And it just discouraged me from playing. Like, I couldn't deal with it back then. I still cannot really deal with it nowadays that well, I'm not gonna lie. But I'm doing better now. But yeah, it is just like, it doesn't take much to not be an asshole, you know? That's it. It doesn't take much to be an asshole, so just don't be. So yeah, I think I'm done with my yapping. I think I covered everything I wanted to cover. I hope the people won't be too mean, although I don't expect too many people to really watch this video anyway, considering I'm not a content creator. So yeah. But yeah, if you ended up watching for some reason and you made it to this point, I hope you had fun listening to my yapping. And yeah, that's it. Take care, everyone. I hope you all have a nice day. Bye-bye.